So let's break down, Josh, the first round of this NBA draft. Now, we're not going to go through the whole first round because that would take up the whole hour, but we should take up the first 10 picks.
Sure.
So the Washington Wizards right now are on the clock, Josh. What do you think they do? Who do you think goes number one in this upcoming draft?
Well, we're also kind of doing this with, the thought of all the picks will stay as far as whichever teams have them. Because again, trades could certainly still happen between now and Tuesday. With all that said, it is a no-brainer. As deep as this draft is, and this is going to be a great draft for many teams.
Yeah.
AJ Jabanza is no question the number one pick in this year's draft.
Yeah.
So if Washington keeps their pick as they should, to me, it's an absolute no-brainer. AJ Jabanza will be a Washington Wizard. And then with Trae Young opting out of his contract, where more than likely he's just kind of restructuring it to stay in Washington, with him, Jabanza, Anthony Davis, Alex Sarr, and I know there's one or two other.
Keyshawn George.
That's the one, Keyshawn George. They're building a squad.
Yeah.
And AJ Jabanza is going to be a huge focal point of that squad.
Yeah. I would venture as far to say, like, next year you should see a real improvement from the Wizards.
Yes.
If this is the case.
Yes.
Right. AJ Jabanza, you add him to this team, the volume scorer that AJ Jabanza projects to be, you add him to this roster with Trae Young, with Anthony Davis, despite the age, right? And you still got good young players, right? Keyshawn George, they just drafted Trey Johnson last year as another big-time bona fide scorer, right? Alex Sarr, I still think, has a lot of upside and a lot of talent. Guys like Bub Carrington and Will Riley, Cam Whitmore, is somebody that I think you can look at as a potential contributor. This is a team that all of a sudden now has some pretty decent young talent.
Yeah.
So I like it. I think this could be something worth noticing if the Wizards bring in AJ Jabanza and he turns out to be what everybody expects, right? This sort of combo forward that can do a little bit of everything. So definitely good there. The Utah Jazz are an interesting team because obviously they hold the number 2 pick. I tend to think that their, needs lie in adding themselves a legitimate point guard. I just don't know if that point guard is there at the top of the draft this high. Like, I feel like if you're just going to go for the best value here, I don't know that you can draft Darius Acuff at number 2. I don't know that you can draft Kingston Flemings at number 2.
Interesting that you're not at all mentioning Darren Peterson, who will only work out for the Washington Wizards because he's only expecting to go number 1, and he won't.
I think Darren Peterson is the guy, though. I think Darren Peterson is the guy that they're going to go get. And again, like, I don't view Darren Peterson as a true point guard. I really see him as a more combo guard, 2-guard kind of player. And obviously the big thing with him was the motor, right? Like, does he really love it? Does he really care? You know who else they said that about, though, Josh? They said that about Anthony Edwards.
Right.
Like, is his drive to win or be great actually great? Does he actually love the game? And he said over and over again, like, dude, I don't know what anybody's talking about. Like, I was playing hurt for most of the back half of the season. Of course I love the game. Listen, he's going to be I think Darren Peterson, as far as like pure like talent, I think Darren Peterson's the best player in the draft. I do. Like, I think that kid is so talented. I think he could be a bona fide superstar if everything goes his way. I just view him as more of like a 2-guard combo kind of player. Now, again, the Jazz could still use a lot of help in the backcourt, right? It's not like they're totally set at the 2-guard position.
Right.
But I think if you're looking at this, and now I think the relationship between them and Walker Kessler is probably burned to the ground, but if you start with Lauri Markkanen and you start with Jaren Jackson, and then you add somebody like Darren Peterson, who's a primary scorer, like then I think you're actually getting somewhere where you're building something, right? Keontae George, Ace Bailey there, who they drafted last year, who I love.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some talent here. I think if you add Darren Peterson to that mix, it could be really, really helpful for them.
You touched on something that I really wanted to bring up with that, because to me, the number 2 pick is clearly Darren Peterson, pending what is happening with Walker Kessler.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Walker Kessler is definitely gone and there's no way of bringing him back, I would not be opposed to the Jazz keeping it in the family and drafting Cam Boozer at number 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, and then Markkanen, since he's, primarily 3-point shooter, you can move him to the 3 and have Boozer be the 4 and Jaren Jackson play the 5.
Right.
With, again, that's if Walker Kessler is gone. If you think he's going to stay, to exactly echoing what you were saying, Darren Peterson is the best player available.
Right.
And that's where you would have to go then. So it really comes down to what Walker Kessler does. That will determine Darren Peterson or Cam Boozer, which then means number 3 for Memphis would be the other one of those 2.
Yeah.
So either way. So if the Jazz took Peterson, then the Grizzlies would take Boozer. If the Jazz took Boozer, the Grizzlies would take Peterson.
Yeah. So I would imagine with your next pick, the Memphis Grizzlies would take Cam Boozer.
Pending, again, what happens with Walker Kessler, yes. So if Darren Peterson goes to Utah, Cam Boozer go to Memphis, and vice versa.
Yeah, I think that's the most likely thing to happen. Now, again, I actually think that you bring up a good point when it comes to, and like I said, when it comes to the motor of Darren Peterson, I think that there's a possibility that Cam Boozer goes ahead of him anyway, right? Like it could be, even regardless of the Walker Kessler thing, they could look at Cam Boozer and say, you know what, we just feel safer with him than we do with Darren Peterson, and they might just do that anyway.
He's definitely the safer pick, absolutely.
So I think that's really legit. As far as the Grizzlies are concerned, I mean, I think Cam Boozer really fits what their identity is perfectly.
Yep.
Just kind of a tough nose, like high motor kind of player, good passer, right? Kind of a traditional post player in a lot of ways. But he's going to be one of these guys where their offense is really going to surround around him. You know what I mean? So I think that would be really solid for them going forward if they were to pick him up. All right. Number 4 is the Chicago Bulls. I mean, look, I think the Bulls are such a mess right now. They really are. They're such a mess. I'm tempted to go with Caleb Wilson. Even though I don't know that forward is necessarily their biggest need. But the NBA draft is such like a, it's just a different animal when it comes to like drafting for need and stuff like that. It just is.
Yeah.
Even though I do think that there's a real chance that he's the best player left. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take Caleb Wilson. I think this is a team that's in need of so much that if they just take one of these like bigger players, right? I think he feels like more of a forward to me than like a real center, but like a great athlete, good defender. He's a good rebounder. I think he's going to provide a lot of defensive help for a team that definitely needs it, right?
Sure.
I mean, they really don't have a whole lot on the front end of their lineup. I think there could be a lot of immediate playing time for him. I think that makes a lot of sense.
So here's our first area of a little disagreement. I mean, everything you're saying about Caleb Wilson is 100% accurate. He will absolutely bring that to whichever team he goes to. The Bulls need a leader They need someone who's going to be the playmaker. And as great as Josh Giddey played this past season, he is not the number one go-to type guy. And I truly feel, from everything that I've been hearing and seeing, I think Darius Acuff could be that guy for Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest comparison that I've been hearing with Acuff is Kyrie. And
yeah,
I'm not saying he's going to be Kyrie, but don't you think the Bulls would love to take a chance to possibly get someone like Kyrie?
Yeah, they would. They definitely would.
I mean, that would definitely be someone. So then you pair him with Giddey in the backcourt. Now you're starting to build something. Because again, to your point, the Bulls need help everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Get started with the playmakers and the facilitators.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised if they went with Caleb Wilson at number 4. I think they should be taking Acuff at number 4. So then coincidentally, when we move to the Clippers at number 5,
yeah.
Again, being in LA, I'll tell you, my friends that report on the Clippers and follow the Clippers, they want Acuff. They want him bad for the Clippers. I disagree.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
Because you have Darius Garland.
Right.
And now I know they're questioning because of his chronic issues he's had with the foot. Well, you have him paid for a little while. He is a former All-Star for a reason. You got to give him the chance. I think Caleb Wilson would be perfect for the Clippers.
Yeah.
To add that defense, that everything that you just described for him. Because now that you got rid of Zubac, you put him down at the 4, could play the 5, be a small 5 if needed in some rotations. And that will add the defensive pressure for this team and continue to build the youth. So I got Acuff with Chicago and Wilson at number 5 to the Clippers.
Mm-hmm. So I would imagine that. I can understand. I can see where that's going. So let's just say that, if Caleb Wilson goes to Chicago at 4,
mm-hmm.
What do you think the Clippers do at 5?
If Wilson goes to Chicago at 4, I personally, again, are you going for the fit or are you going for the best player? Because at that point, to me, the best player is Acuff.
Yeah.
But if you're going as far as a fit, because you have Darius Garland there already, then I would go with Nate Ament.
Okay.
And again, I think really at that point, though, when you're picking the top 5 to 8 players, you're not going for fit. You got to go for whoever the best player available is. Because you're in that situation typically for a reason. Obviously, with the new lottery system, we know that's not necessarily the case. But if we're going with the mindset of you got to go with the best player, if Caleb Wilson goes to 4, yes, you go with Acuff at 5. If you're trying to fit for the right role and Wilson's gone at 4, it's probably Nate Ament.
Okay. All right. So I'm not against that. I mean, I think somebody like Keaton Wagler is somebody that you could look at also as just one of those wing guards.
Sure.
That you could pair with somebody like Darius Garland. So let's take Nate Ament here for the Clippers. Again, one of those longer, Tennessee guys, right? One of those combo forwards. Now we move to the Brooklyn Nets.
You want to talk about needing everything. And they had 4 first-round picks last year, and nothing worked.
So, yeah, I mean, it's tough to say, right? Because, Igor Dioman definitely gave him a little bit of something. Ben Saraf, they got a little bit of something. They played a lot of those guys, right? Danny Wolf played a lot of minutes for the Nets this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see what direction they go in. But again, this is one of those situations where, the Nets drafted 2 point guards in the first round last year with Igor Dioman and Ben Saraf. And are they really going to add another one with somebody like Darius Acuff or with somebody like Kingston Flemings or Michael Brown or any of those guys? I don't know that they are. So
and they shouldn't, because that will just destroy chemistry. and camaraderie, because if you're already giving up on somebody, so they got to draft size. This would have to be a situation for like Nate Ament then.
Yeah. So this would be a good spot to draft him. I also think that if they went for more of an off-ball guard, I think that could be something that would entertain them too. This is the spot where I think I'm going to take Keaton Wagler out of Illinois. I think Keaton Wagler, as far as like a pure shooter, right? One of the guys that can create his own shot, right? Like he's a true off-ball guard. So I think if you get him hot, I think he could be a legitimate difference maker and give them a real shot at winning games next year if they give him the role of just go out there and score points.
Yeah.
So, and that's something the Nets desperately need. They do not have a go-to scorer. I think Keaton Wagler could be that player. All right, so the Sacramento Kings at number 7. Now, again, we've seen some recent success with them over the past couple of years, but the past 2 years or so have been a little underwhelming. This is a team that seemed to have gotten it seems like they got away from what was making them successful, right? And they started bringing in some of these veteran players like DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. They started bringing in some of those guys. What do you think they need to do? I honestly, I think the answer is pretty obvious, but what do you think they need to do here with their 7th overall pick?
Move the franchise to Seattle.
There you go.
I mean, this has got to be either Michael Brown or Keaton Wagler. Like, you just have to have someone leading them because there's no one leading the team anymore. And Sabonis has 1 foot out the door. So you need everything.
I think if Darius Acuff is here, you got to take him.
Well, if Acuff is still there, I'm in my side of stuff, I had him gone already.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. But if Acuff falls all the way down to 7, first off, I'd be shocked if he does go down that far. But if he does, if you're the Kings, you absolutely have to take him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think any sort of like lead guard is somebody that they should look at. Kingston Flemings, Darius Acuff, Michael Brown, LeBaron Philon. Like I think those are the guys that you really look at as you're again guys that can handle the ball a lot. The Kings need that sort of lead guard to kind of stabilize things again. So we'll see where that goes with them. The Atlanta Hawks at number 8. Again, they traded Trae Young. This is a team that had some success last year, right? Made the playoffs, seemed to have gotten even a little bit better after they traded Trae Young. So, I mean, I'm kind of thinking for this roster, I think they need more size, dude.
100%. 100%.
I think they need more size.
This has Andy Mara written all over it.
Yeah, I would say Ade Mara or Yaxel Lendabor.
Or Ade, excuse me. Ade Mara,
right, are the two guys that I would look at. I would take Lendabor because I think he's the better player at this spot. But I think if you're the Hawks, you have to add size. You're very undersized at the moment. Lendabor gives you that. I think that's really the move there. So we then move to the Dallas Mavericks at number 9. Cooper Flagg, Kyrie Irving, Derek Lively. I mean, the roster's not bare, Josh. So what do we do?
This is, again, Kyrie is now more so of a 2 guard. So I think, again, you got to have a facilitator. So, again, on my side of things, because I said the Kings at 7 would take either Michael Brown or Keaton Wagler. So whichever one they didn't take,
right,
this is where they go. Number 9 to Dallas.
Yeah.
So I'll just say I had Michael Brown to Sacramento, so I'll say Keaton Wagler to Dallas.
All right. Yeah. So I think that makes a lot of sense. They need some sort of guard that, again, can either serve as just a true backcourt mate to Kyrie Irving, stabilize their backcourt a little bit. I think that would make a ton of sense for them. And then you've got Milwaukee at number 10. Obviously, we don't know what's going on with Giannis. Could Giannis be gone by then? We'll see if that comes to fruition. I mean, if there was ever a team that needed a point guard in the draft, I mean, I think this is one, right? I mean, it's literally, I don't know who's bringing the ball up for them next year if it's not Giannis. I mean, whoever's left of the point guards, right? It's got to be Kingston Flemings. It's got to be LeBaron Philon. I mean, if you want to try and make Braden Burries a point guard, you could do that also. It's got to be one of the guards, right? I mean,
yeah, I'm leaning towards Burries, and I'm leaning towards him of those options just because he can do a little of everything. Mm-hmm. And the Bucks, especially if Giannis is gone, depending on who they get in return, will need somebody that can be versatile.
Yeah. And
he realistically could play the 1, 2, or if you're going super small, could even play the 3.
Yeah.
So I would lean towards Burries for Milwaukee at 10.
Yeah. All right.
We did it. We did 10 picks.
We did it.